Hey guys, and welcome back to today's NFL pick video play. This one talking about this matchup here between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals for Thursday Night Football on September 13th, 2018. If you're interested in getting all of our NFL Week 2 picks, you can access those over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. So coming into this one, going to be talking about where we like the better value on the over-under with that total number relatively low here, about 44 points. And whenever you get these AFC North matchups, sometimes they can be very defensive type of battles, but based on what we've been seeing from the Ravens and Bengals, especially in terms of their Week 1 matchups, looking pretty solid offensively, so it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays itself out. Now, in terms of where Vegas has both of these teams standing coming into the year, they had the win total over-under for the Baltimore Ravens set at just 8, and then for the Cincinnati Bengals, they had their win total set at 6.5, and I think this might be underselling these two squads, especially, like I said, with what we were seeing out of both of these teams, able to grab victories in their Week 1 games. So the Ravens, Week 1 going and playing at home against the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills might very well be the worst team in the NFL, and the Ravens made the Bills look that way as they went on to win that one by a final of 47-3. So when we take a look at this total here of 44 points, just going by last week, the Ravens scored 47 points, which would have eclipsed that number by themselves, but going against a tougher opponent here, probably going to be a bit more difficult for Baltimore to put up that kind of scoring onslaught, 47 points. So we saw Joe Flacco, very steady, 25 of 34 passes completed, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. We also got to see Lamar Jackson out there for a little bit. Of course, when Baltimore, they're ahead by so much, may as well get some time for Lamar Jackson. But otherwise, we're going to be seeing Flacco and a heavy dosage of him through the rest of the regular season. And in a contract year for Flacco, that's only extra motivation for him to go out and perform at this kind of level. And then in terms of what they did on the ground, Baltimore, 117 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns on 34 carries. And then defensively, extremely impressive. They only gave up 83 rushing yards to the Bills and 70 yards through the air. So very impressive stuff there defensively. Now, if you look at what the Bengals did, bit tougher of a matchup. You have to go out on the road, and they had themselves in a pretty tough situation where they had to come back down the stretch, but able to separate and beat the Indianapolis Colts by a final of 34-23. The total in that particular matchup hitting 57 points. The Bengals putting up 34 of those. And we saw some pretty good stuff from Andy Dalton going on to complete 21 of 28 passes, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception, while the ground game picked up 101 yards and 1 touchdown on 20 carries. And then on the flip side, defensively, the Bengals had their issues in terms of slowing down the Colts through the air, as Luck went on to throw for 319 yards and 2 touchdowns, but they were respectable against the run, giving up 75 rushing yards on 22 carries. So if I was on the Ravens side coming into this one, I would definitely try to look to exploit some of those weaknesses that the Colts were able to show in terms of that pass defense, giving up 319 yards through the air. And like I said, both of these teams showing really well offensively in their Week 1 matchups. The Bengals picking up 34 points against the Colts, and then the Ravens picking up 47 points against the Bills. I'd be surprised if those teams were able to eclipse those kind of numbers in this matchup going against a bit tougher of an opponent, but again, we'll see how that plays out in what should be a really competitive matchup. The Bengals getting that home field advantage, and as a result, we're seeing the spread almost at right around a pick'em. But again, looking at that total number, just 44 points, relatively low. We're going to go ahead and side with where the public seems to also have an agreement here on the over being the better value play. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. Check out all of our NFL plays for this week's action over at stumpthespread.com. Link down in the video description. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope to see you guys back here for our next video.